So the whole point of this range trip was to compare the MLP, which is a 5.56. It shoots M855. I got a red dot on it. Compare that, accuracy, functionality, etc. against the Romy G, which is an AK-47, 7.62x39. However, got to the range, and again, the aim point failed me, which sucks because I brought a spare battery and everything, but there was some sort of failure on the QD mount, and when I popped the trunk, this was not on the rifle. It was laying on the other side of the trunk. And it's deer hunting season, so the lines to get on the line to shoot are incredibly long. I didn't want to have to zero the rifle and then do a comparison, so I just wind up just trying to shoot the AK, just so I could get a rough accuracy number. The next rifle will be shooting at the top target. This is a Romy G, 7.62x39. The AK-47, nothing on paper. Now, I had brought the Black 13 with me because I have shot this a lot, so I have a good idea of what I'm shooting, so I can tell when I'm having an off day. Alright, the first rifle will be shooting at the bottom target. This is my Black 13. It's a M16A2 National Match clone. Totally forgot how many shots I fired. Alright, so here's the Black 13. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, I shot it, and I got 2.88 MOA. On my on days, I'm sub 2 MOA. Sometimes I'll squeak out sub MOA, but it's usually like between 1 and 1.5 MOA on my good days. So I'm clearly not having the best day. I even shot the Scar, well, one, because I had to make sure that the zero is still true for hunting, and to also confirm that, no, it's not that great of a day. Oh, I didn't realize how incredibly unstable I am in this position until I'm looking through an optic. That was a bad shot. Alright, I fired 5 shots with the Scar. God knows where the other one went. So I got a hit. I knew I pulled this shot for sure. So if I give myself a mulligan on that one, it'd be 1, It's 1 MOA, just slightly over 1 MOA with the ACOG. If I include this, it'd be 2 something MOA. I really wish I knew where the fish shot went. Anyway, Black 13 again. So last time I fired 5, so let's just randomly take off 5. Then here's another 5. So I shot that rifle better than everything else today. Then I shot the AK. And I didn't even get a single round hit on the paper. So that right there says something. Not so much against the AK. Well, I guess it's kind of against the AK. Now, as far as the zeroing goes, I don't have a clue how this is actually supposed to work. I just followed one of the YouTubers' instructions to the T. I can't remember if it was Brandon Harris or... I think it was AK Operator Union. I zeroed it exactly how they said to the T. So, you know, maybe I did it wrong, but I followed their instructions explicitly, like, to the T. So I don't know, you think I would have printed on paper. But that brings up the point. Why accuracy matters when it comes to rifles. Because basically, you got you, so whatever you're shooting that day, whether that's half MOA or 5 MOA, you are the first variable. So you can aim anywhere on the target within what you're shooting that day. Then you got the rifle's accuracy on top of that. So let's say you're shooting, on this particular day, I was averaging about 3 MOA. So 3 MOA plus what the rifle does. I think when I tested the accuracy on this rifle was 5 MOA, something like that. So we got 3 plus 5 plus whatever wind variable. And I believe with a 1 mile an hour wind, it's something like 1.5 MOA or something like that. So we're looking at 3 plus 5, so 5, 6, 7, 8, plus if there's a 1 mile an hour wind, I believe that drifts 1 MOA, so 9 MOA. And that's why I didn't get a single hit on the paper. Even though I was having an off day, I still scored 100% hits with this rifle. Alright, we're going to try the Black 13 one more time, and then we're going to do the Scar, because that top target's still on marred. I didn't hang a new target, so we'll have to compare footage to figure out exactly where my hits are with this rifle. Where even if I'm having an off day, they pick up the slack for me. I know my comment section's gonna blow up like, oh, you can't buy good shooting techniques and stuff like that. However, you got a shit rifle, you make one little mistake and you miss. You got a damn good rifle, you make a little mistake and the rifle will pick up the slack because the second circle that goes around you is a lot smaller. So for this rifle right here, I have done sub MOA with this. So we got me, which was averaging about 3 MOA this day, plus we'll say 0.5, so that's 3.5. I'm shooting a very fast projectile. The wind drift is practically negligible at 200 yards. I think it's like a half MOA or something like that. So we're talking a group size. All right, let's go 3 plus 1. 4 MOA. And this is on an off day. 3 is bad. That's really, really bad for me. So still 4 MOA. Shoot at an 8-inch target while I'm hitting. If I'm shooting 3 MOA and I'm shooting this rifle, I'm not even on paper anymore. And that's something you have to consider. Next thing is you have the projectile itself. So, drop. That's a big deal. You look at a target, you estimate the range. Let's pretend you call the range a little bit off. So for M193, At 200 yards, let's say I pretend and I'm like, okay, that's only 100 yards away. Well, that's only a 1 MOA drop. That's it. 2 inches is what I'm going to miss by calling the range wrong. AK-47, over double that. We got 2.2. And now for my little MLP, we're shooting the 8.55, we got 1.3. These are still pretty close. Like, you could call 200 yards wrong as long as you don't call over it, and you'll still hit. 300 yards, okay, now it's starting to become a problem. With the M193, you're looking at 3 MOA, so 9 inches. Oh, crap, I don't have my tape measure down here. 9 inches. With 7.62, we got 5.8 MOA. That is absurd. You're not even going to be close to the target. 5.8 times 3, 315. Like 20 inches, it's probably going to be more than that because I'm not going to do it on a calculator. But that's a lot. So, man, I wish I had a tape measure down here. Guesstimate this far off. So, if they're laying down or kneeling or something like that, you're totally going to miss the target. 400 yards, okay, now it's starting to get extremely bad. 5.5 MOA on the M193, 10.3 on the 7.62x39, 6.5 on the 8.55, 10.3. That's over 40 inches. That's huge. 500 yards, oh my god. We got 8.6 on the M193, 16. 0.6 on the 7.62, 10 on the 8.55. So what am I trying to say here? You have to be twice as good to shoot the AK-47 as good as the AR-15 with M193. Why would you handicap yourself like that? That doesn't make any sense. That'd be like going to your job and be like, I know you guys are offering $10 an hour, but I'd really just like 5. 5 would be a much better number. Like, why would you do that? Why would you intentionally handicap yourself? Now we got the velocity, because that matters with these small projectiles. You get up to like 308 and 300 Win Mag and 338 Lapua, 50 cal. No, it doesn't matter so much. But with these smaller projectiles, 2,200 feet per second is absolutely key. Now, if you've been a viewer for the channel for a long time, you already understand this. But just in case you haven't, take it away, Mr. Federal Guy.
Temporary wound cavity, as we expand and recover from, is different when projectiles hit at greater than 2,200 feet a second. At that point, it appears we have surpassed the elasticity capability of human tissue, and that temporary wound cavity begins tearing at its limits and margins and becomes the permanent wound cavity, which also is the conclusion why people who are center punched with rifle projectiles typically succumb much quicker than people who are hit with handgun projectiles. The byproduct of that also seems that when a rifle projectile at those velocities bypasses an organ, you will still have organic damage, whereas a handgun projectile needs to directly hit a vital organ to do organic damage.
Alright, so the AK-47, I actually juiced up the velocity just to make sure that it covers all AK-47 numbers, but really it drops below 2,200 feet per second with the normal velocity numbers at like 50 yards. But I wanted to juice it up, like even the drop right here. This is all juiced up numbers. It's way worse than this, but I wanted to juice it up this way you can see, like, and you don't have somebody in the comments like, oh no, that's not quite right. If you run such and such ammunition, you get a little bit higher velocity, it does better. This is best case scenario. Juiced up velocity numbers. At 100 yards, well, now the AK-47 or the 7.62x39 is inferior to the 5.56 because they're staying above 2,200 feet per second. They have a ballistic advantage over the 7.62x39. And that's at 100 yards with juiced up numbers. Normally it would be at like 50 yards. It's just amazing how much better the 5.56 performs over the 7.62x39. Now another problem is obviously the stuff you've heard a billion times, ergonomics, magazines reinsertions, and then you'll have the people in the comments like, oh, if you would just train on your rifle, you can get as good with the AK-47 mag changes as you can with the AR-15 mag changes. If you were to take the same exact amount of time it would take to get good at this magazine change, and put that into the 5.56 magazine change, you'll be far superior with the 5.56 AR-15 magazine change. Same with the safety. Oh, you just got to train more so you know your weapon. Take that same amount of time you would have trained on this particular platform, put that in an AR-15, and you will be better with the AR-15. No matter how you slice the pie. This is an inferior rifle by a long shot compared to the AR-15. Sighting system. This has iron sights. Oh, but you can put on a rail on the... Why? Why do you need to modify this weapon? You can just take your standard M16A2 and run circles around a standard AK-47. Yeah, I could put a rail on here. I could add a bunch of shit, turn this into a 15-pound rifle, and it will have similar attributes that the AR-15 has. Or I can just buy an AR-15 at like half the price, and it's already set up that way. It's already ergonomically superior. The mag changes are superior. The projectile it shoots is superior. How the rifle is set up with your head position with a red dot is superior. It's like dropping a supercharged Hemi in a Caravan and saying that that is better than a Hellcat. No, the Hellcat is a better vehicle by a long shot than a Dodge Caravan. Yeah, most definitely you can modify the shit out of the Dodge Caravan and make it better, but it will still never stand up to the Hellcat. It's the same thing with the AK-47 and the AR-15. I can do a whole bunch of work to that AK-47 and make it better, but it's still not, it's never going to stand up to the AR-15. So you may be asking, why exactly is the accuracy so poor on this? I think like one of the best groups I ever threw with this was just short of like 4 MOA. I have to go back to my video library and double check, but I believe it's like 4 MOA. The best group I ever threw with this was like 0.5 MOA. Well, number one, you got the barrel. It's probably made in a cave somewhere, put together like shit. It's connected to a piston system. There's actually a metal rod in here that moves back and forth as soon as the gas gets to right here. On the AR-15, the gas gets to right here. It hasn't even started yet. The gas still needs to go all the way down this tube, all the way back here, and then you start getting movement of the rifle. So it's totally possible to start getting some action happening before the projectile even left. The next problem with the AK-47, why it's so incredibly inaccurate, is the ammunition. Yeah, I could go buy Gucci Primo brass ammo and probably bring that down to like 2.5 MOA, 2 MOA. I don't think it would drop below 2. I don't know. I haven't put a bunch of Gucci ammo in an AK-47 because that's not the type of rifle that is. But it probably could get down to 2 MOA. When I've printed sub-MOA with this, that's just with Milsurp M193. If I were to throw some Gucci ammo in here, take off the A2 handle, and use some sort of optic, it would probably shoot 0.5 MOA all day. But that's not the style of this rifle. I wanted an A2, so I just run Milsurp ammo, and I have shot sub-MOA. The ammunition quality on an AR-15 is so much better than AK-47. Not to mention the AK-47 shoots a bimetal projectile. What that means is it's not a copper jacket. It's a piece of metal for a jacket with a copper paint job. Just cutting out your rifling. Just ripping it out, screwing up your rifle's accuracy. Your 5.56, no, that's a copper jacketed bullet. Copper's really soft. Inside of that, we got lead, which is really soft. It can go down the bore without totally sticking up your rifling. And that's the general reason, like the rough overview, the broad strokes of why I like an AR-15 so much better than an AK-47, because it's just a higher quality rifle, shooting higher quality ammunition. It's better in every single category. Unless, of course, we're attacked by a bunch of bricks, then yes, the 7.62x39 would be a superior rifle. I've never once, not even once, have seen an engagement where a bunch of bricks were attacking a person or a military force or something like that. It's always been living tissue attacking. In which case, with living tissue, the 5.56 takes the advantage. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, help support the channel. Got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those links, even if you don't purchase what that particular link is for, just clicking on that and then doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway, a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.